Welcome back to the Vintage Telephones channel. Today I'm going to show you my 1976 PMG 802 that's made by AWA. Although some parts are made by STC as well, which is standard telephones and cables. The bottom plate has AWA on it. It's 1976. The 800 series, which began with the 801, was introduced in about 1963 and up until 1970 is when the 802s started coming out, when they introduced the modern dial, which is fitted on this telephone. The early 801s would have either a British Post Office dial 12 or a BTMC type dial that's from Belgium. And when in 1970 the standard Australian dial came out, the numbers were now in here, and the 801s would have the numbers printed on the dial surround, and this dial surround would be removable as well, and then there would be chevrons here in place of that. Then they became blank in the 802s, and this one is actually part of the mold, so this is not removable. I got this telephone in about 2016. The link of the first checkout is in the description. So this will take you back a few years. I'd never done a final checkout video up until now, but I'll tell you what went about with this phone. So the dial center was missing, so I found one for it. And unfortunately, one of the little clips is broken, so I had to glue it. So this is no longer removable, and if I had to, I'd have to break it off. And I left the dial card blank on it. And also the bell coil, since it's the way it's mounted, the place where the screws go through is actually plastic, and those the whole thing had been broken off, so I had to re-glue it. I don't know. Don't ask me why they made them out of plastic, but yeah, I wonder if it was damaged in shipping. I'm not sure, but it's fine now. I use super glue to reattach it, and I'll show you in the pictures at the end, because I never did an inside look at it when I did the first video checkout. Here's a look around. I gave it a good polish and a cleaning, of course. Dial needed a light oiling, and there was a bunch of, I think it was like red paint or something that was in the finger wheels. So that was kind of an ordeal trying to remove. I had to soak it for a while in some hot water, salt soapy water. And of course the bezel was dirty as well. And that was actually enjoyable doing that, because it's, there's a few spots left. You can kind of see it there. I didn't get it totally off, but it's better than what it was before. And you polish the crap out of it as well to kind of give a finishing touch. It's fitted with an Australian plug. It's all original. It's actually a 6-pin plug, because there's one pin on this side and there's one pin on the other. And the plastic part, it divides those in there. So, and the way the wires are connected to this use the slider terminals instead of spade tip wire tips. I don't know, what do you call them? This is what the plug looks like. And originally the 802s and 801s had matching colored cords, but they, I think in the 80s, they switched them all to they called it the teak wood. It's this shade of brown. They call it teak wood. So all of the 802s had the same color cord, no matter what color the phone was for the line cords. Let's look at the side. Apologize if these are a bunch of there are a lot of nicks in this telephone. There's no damage. The hands, of course, in great shape. And just like the 700 series telephones, or at least the 746s, they have those little vents here under the carry handle. These phones came in kind of the same color, except they didn't have two tones as the 700 series telephone. So this one's in the Lacquer Red, the topaz yellow, mist gray, light ivory. I can't remember if that's what they called it, but it was an ivory. They didn't have like a Concord blue, I know that, but they did have a black, and did I say gray? I did say gray. And they also had the green. The gray was actually more common in businesses, and they weren't really found in private residences. And of course, the ivory was the most commonly used color. So this is a lacquer red, and they also called it lacquer red for the GPO 700 series as well. So yeah, I'll show you the handset too. I forgot to show you that. The early 802s did have clear plastic plungers, and they later switched them sometime in the 70s, mid-70s, I think, early mid-70s. I have one from 1972 that has the clear ones. I'm going to show you a video of that soon once I get done. But those are the white ones. Here's also at the bottom. This phone had been serviced at some point. You can see Telecom Workshop in Brisbane. I think it was worked on in 1986, or is it 1984, 1986, but it was in the 80s. There's a bell adjuster. It's a little wheel. Those vents right there are where the bells are. And there's the two screws. Feet are good shape as well. Okay. So now what I'll do is I will get the machine out and I will do a little demonstration for you all. So we'll be right back. I got the machine out, but I want to preface this real quick before I did a demonstration. I forgot to mention in the first part of the video is that the numbers they use on the font they use for the dial here are very similar to the later Standard Electric Geraldos made for Cetesa in Spain. I have it on the left here, the red Geraldo, and they use a very similar font, as you can see. Definitely a neat looking font, but they use, I think that was kind of cool how they did that. So that's the Geraldo on the left, and that's the PMG 802 on the right, with similar looking fonts. And obviously the numbers are situated a bit differently. You see on the Geraldo, the 3 and the 2 on the top, and the number 3 is on the very top on the PMG dial. But I thought I'd show you that just as a little comparison. So I'll put this to the side. I will turn the machine on. Finally got an adapter for these, so now if I get any other Australian phones, I can now test them with these plugs. It's just, I didn't situate this very well. There are just bare wires on the terminals, so I hope those don't pull out. So now I'll turn the machine on. Bell tinkle. So I'll give you some dial tone. Okay. I will also test the transmitter. As I speak into the transmitter, the light changes. That shows it's picking it up. Okay, I'll dial some numbers. 0. Okay. Now we'll demonstrate the ringer. Alright, now I'll have a little slideshow of the inside coming up next. More videos that are come. I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you for watching.